Hello and welcome to FDT-TV. I'm Mike.
I'm
With
Ian.
me is... And
I'm Phil. Hello.
this is the recap show, and come along. Hi guys, welcome back. This is week 18 of the FDT-TV Podcast. Who'd have thought it, boys? 18 weeks we've been doing this.
Well, we was aiming for
25
20
games
wasn't we,
in.
originally.
Yeah, we did. We
It
said
seems a
initially.
long time ago that we started.
I know, but I think we've definitely got better at this. Not much, but the quality of the videos is getting better.
I hope so.
We've all grown and shrunk together.
Yes, we have. We have definitely been shrinking. So actually, we'll talk about that first.
I've been doing the growing
We're-
because I'm actually. I mean, it's hard to tell because of my pasty complexion, but I'm actually Nigerian from the waist down.
Oh my god,
What?
you're weird.
It's true, man. You've seen it.
So speaking of the shrinking, we have the FDT-TV Weight Loss Challenge weighing very, very shortly.
Excited?
Well, the video for it will come out the day after this comes out. So
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Look out
Yeah.
for it. If you subscribe, you can find it.
How are you boys feeling about how you've done this month?
Mixed. I've had a good week. I've had a few bad weeks. I've had a medium week. So all in all, probably not well.
Mr. B?
We'll see.
What do you mean we'll see? What do you mean?
How do you think you've done? I'm not asking you to...
I'm waiting till the morning. I haven't weighed myself for like 10 days or a week or so, a week and a half now. So I'm going to see how it goes.
That's a lie, because I went running with you Tuesday and you told me you weighed in on Tuesday.
I didn't weigh myself though then.
Okay.
Do you know what? I might shave my beard off just for the extra couple of grams.
Mate, you've probably got a kilo in body hair. That's what I did yesterday. I had a full-on grooming session.
You think my chin's hairy? You haven't seen my bum.
I probably will tomorrow, to be fair. But anyway.
If it comes down to that, you will.
Right, anyway, back to football. So we had a bit of a strange week last week in relation to the fixtures. We had the West Ham Liverpool catch-up game. We also had Liverpool versus Southampton, West Ham versus Brighton, and Burnley versus Arsenal. We'll go in the chronological order of the games. So we'll start off with West Ham Liverpool. Just going on the recap, Ian, you did say that you think West Ham will win 1-0. Phil, you went with a 2-0 win. I went with a 3-0 win. Take it away, boys. It's your two teams.
I'd sort of written it off as a game because what Liverpool have been doing is just winning all season. But then I thought we'd do the ultimate West Ham thing and turn them over because that would be the typical West Ham thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. I didn't actually see it, but I was quite happy with just a 2-0.
It's close. It was close. You battled well. There were some moments. West Ham come in for it. They were fighting and up for the game. And if it wasn't for Alisson, you could have easily had a couple of goals. I think Alisson was on top form, made 2 or 3 incredible saves, which was good. You had Fabianski was back. He made some great saves as well in his goal, keeping it close for the time being. But I don't think he could do it. Did you see the penalty shout? Break the tie break.
I didn't see any of it, to be fair, because as I said, I wrote it off. I can't speak. I wrote it off as a game because looking at it, thinking, well, if we don't turn them over 1-0, then we could be in for a thumping. So just ignore it and
And to be fair, we were all eating together at the same time, so
Yeah, we was.
that made it pretty difficult to watch it.
Yeah.
But no, it was. I think it was a pretty stonewall penalty. I think Origi had the ball, was in the middle of the box, and had loads of legs come out and try and pull him down.
Like a spider. Just spawning legs from everywhere.
He played the ball through the legs.
Where was it?
Tried
Was it
running
Anfield,
through.
wasn't it?
No, it was the Olympic.
Oh, of course it was, because I tried to get tickets and they were the only ones left were corporate, and they were £1,500 each.
Oh,
I checked on match day, all sold out.
Wow.
They must make a fortune. Well, how else did they pay for Jared Bowen, you know?
Got to. But no, I'm pretty happy with the game, to be fair. 2-0, train keeps rolling on. I mean, it's incredible. That put us, at the time, 19 points clear.
I did hear that if you win your next 8 games, it would be mathematically impossible for anyone to beat you.
To beat us? Or for anyone else to win the league?
Well, that would then beat you.
Teams can beat us still, mate.
All right, to win the league then. I'm going to predict that Liverpool will lose a game this season. I know
you just want it to happen, so your record stays.
I know it's hardly Mystic Meg shit, but I think
once you've won it,
that's it. I think you guys will get complacent.
Take the foot off.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think Liverpool is nailed on to win the league this year. It's inevitable.
Predictions are March time now. Could be
exactly
earliest ever.
Exactly, and that's why I think that will happen, because you're going to have to concentrate on the Champions League if you get through at that sort of point. The fuck up, or the FA Cup, whatever you want to call it.
I was just like, Mike's got really un-PG there. He's not done that before. What's he going on about? But that's very good. Yes, I like that.
Yeah. So you got the FA Cup as well, which obviously depending on how you guys get on this week, check out the prediction show to see what each of us think on that one. Do you see my nice?
City to play. I think we've got Spurs to play again.
Got us to play again.
I feel we've hit the nail on the head there, though. Once the Premier League's under wraps, which unless something majorly goes wrong, all your eggs are in the basket of retaining the Champions League.
But I don't think Klopp will allow the team to play that way.
No, but I think if you've got Real Madrid on a Sunday or whenever, when's Champions League play? Thursdays.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
I know. Never had to worry about it. So if say you've got Real Madrid on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And the week before you've got Burnley, and then you've got after, and then Real Madrid again. You're going to play rotated squads because you want if you won the Premier League, it don't matter. But you need to beat Real Madrid.
I really don't.
I think it'd be silly not to.
Not just the first team, the second team, the youth team, the whole squad, every single player who's at Liverpool knows the work ethic was required, and if they start taking a foot off, it's just, I don't think it's going to happen.
He's taking a foot off in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. He's not even turning up. There's no argument to that. There's no argument. He's playing rotated squad, and if you've won the Premier League and he put out a half first team, half second string team, you wouldn't be mad at him going, we're playing Real Madrid twice in 2 weeks.
See what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't think it will. I really don't think he's got the mentality to do that.
I've just found this, lads. So I'll just see if it will focus in on the camera.
13 stone 11.
But
87.
It is from 2017, so...
I literally just shat myself just then. I was like, oh,
I do see it,
my God. Yeah. Anyway, no, I do seriously think that once once you've signed the league up, I do think that'll be the time that you guys lose. I do appreciate what you're saying, Phil, about everyone with a mentality, but the fact of the matter is that if you do start playing rotated squads, some of those players are not as good as other players that are in your team.
Shaqiri's got the same work ethic as Salah, but he ain't the same player, is he?
But Mike, are you saying this because you're an Arsenal fan and that you're really hoping that no one else breaks or equals your record?
Obviously, but that's just my opinion.
Is that an added factor?
Possibly.
Do you hope that we get beat every single weekend?
I do anyway.
Do you know what the worst bit about it is? He's now becoming like Manchester United fans for the last 15 years.
Oh, look how great my team is.
He hasn't won a Premier League yet.
No.
He hasn't won it. Not yet.
No, not yet. Still could happen.
Once you've done it, fair enough. You can have 6 months. After that.
Anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think it will drop off. I really don't think that the ethics and the mentality of the squad is that way.
All right, I'll put a wager with you then that you will lose a game in the Premier League by the end of the season.
We shall see.
And
I'm putting it down as video evidence now that I will wager you as well as along with our
I'm not in
along with our existing bets that we've already got going on each season. I will bet you another £25 that you will lose a game this season.
Ooh. Are you accepting the wager and the bet?
No.
He ain't confident then, is he? That says it all.
It's not about confidence, it's confidence in Mike.
What?
Right.
What, you saying he doesn't pay his dues?
I don't want to rob him.
Well, you're guaranteed, 30 quid out of me already this season, so there's a chance to make another 25 quid there.
Mate, yeah. I will wager you, if he don't want that bet, I will wager you West Ham will lose at least 4 more games this year.
No, I'd agree with that. So we, mate.
Who's going to win, me or you?
Oh.
Especially when we play each other, we'll probably both lose.
Is that possible?
Right. Anyway, moving on.
Move on.
So, Liverpool.
What was next?
Liverpool versus Southampton.
So what can I say about this game? A game of 2 halves is what it definitely is. I thought it would be a nice 2-0. Southampton's been playing well, and they'd give us a good run for the money, and I think they did for the first half. It was quite an even game. Good spells. Alisson did very well. I think there was times that that Southampton could have scored. They were playing brilliantly. Up front, they did some great moves. Alisson, incredible goalkeeper, worth the money, keeping us in the game. And then I think there was just a snowball in the second half. The scoreline really does not flatter the game, but I think 4 goals in the second half was pretty outstanding. Some of the counter-attacks were typical Liverpool, just on the break, working fast, just to break them down and put it away. I think Mo was getting back to clinical self. He came close a couple of times as well, but one-on-one, he was there, destroying them. So it's good. Some stats that come out of the game are incredible nowadays. 42 unbeaten, 7 games to go to equal your record, Mike, at Arsenal. Are you 49? 22 points clear now. It's an ocean in between us and City. It's absolutely ridiculous. 73 out of 75. And do you know, we're still the only team in Europe who is unbeaten in local leagues. So we'll see what happens. This trade is rolling. It continues to roll. I think they've got a 2-week break now for the players to go rest, get some energy back. I think there are players that need the rest. They're getting a bit leggy. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain came on. He played up in place of Mane this week. Did very, very well, proving his ability. And yeah, I think without Mane, you do lack speed and some attacking and creativity that he does supply. But I think Ox did really great. to fill that and to create. And I think he's been rewarded recently. He's getting on the score sheet. Let's see that continue. I think Mane will be out for several more weeks. So when it comes back, let's see him continue this.
Has there been any announcements as to how long Mane is going to be out for?
It was 6 weeks.
Right.
But he's been in Spain, down in Marbs, I think it is, recovering.
That's life, isn't it?
I know. Get injured, so what are you going to do? Oh, no. I'll go to sunny shores.
I might go twist my ankle at work, see if they send me to Spain. It'd be nice. Just on the Ox, actually, I've been noticing he's been cropping up on the score sheets in the last few games.
The goal against West Ham was really, really good. He just showed strength. He could have gone down, and I think it was Lanzini ran into him, but he could have easily got a red card for it because he tried taking him out as he ran onto, like you say, last man running onto goal. Nice, cool finish. Showed the strength. Yeah.
And do you know what? It annoys me as well because when we come onto our game, it's something that obviously I will pick up, but it's that sort of player that we are missing a lot at the moment within the Arsenal squad. But again, we'll come on to that in a bit.
Yeah, I'm glad we bought him. It's a worthwhile acquisition. I think he's adding to the squad. I mean, he's getting first picks nowadays. Now he's got over his injury. He played incredible for the injury, scoring goals for us. And it's great to have him back. I think he just adds extra when you need it. I think, as you say, Mane's out. I think even if Mane comes back in, I think he'll be there week in, week out. Now, I don't see how, unless he gets injured again, touch wood, he doesn't. I think he's going to be more of a regular alongside Henderson.
Ian, any thoughts, comments? No?
That's it. Can't be other than they probably should have lost in VAR.
It's a standard response now for Liverpool games, isn't it?
Yeah,
should have lost VAR, definitely.
To be fair, we did lose out on a penalty shout. Southampton pretty much rugby tackled Firmino in the box, and nothing given.
Yeah, would you really need it anyway? No. Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Didn't impact the end result.
Exactly. Right, so we'll draw that game to a conclusion. One of the highlights for the weekend, I think, is the next game. It certainly wasn't our game. So
I'm glad we're on the highlight reel this week.
The West Ham versus Brighton game.
Big 6-pointer.
I will precursor this by saying West Ham do have a record this year, which we have most years. We're definitely up there most years, but we're number one on this table. And I will give you a pat on the back and a handshake if you can get this right. It's a miniature quiz. How many points have West Ham dropped from winning positions this year or this season?
I saw this the other day.
Because I've seen it. I've worked it out.
Now?
No, there was. In fact, you might have actually posted this somewhere.
I did post this.
Yeah.
Isn't it like 22?
No, it was.
Higher.
I think it's like 19 points.
19 points
Yes.
from winning positions, right?
Yeah, because had you won all those games,
we would have been sitting fourth.
That's insane.
We were on 43 points. Two points above Chelsea. So I think that says it all. One from Stumpy fucking Joe, doesn't it? But two, I mean, I was at the game. From a neutral perspective, fantastic game. From a West Ham perspective, there was no effort from some players. Once we took off Antonio in the 75th minute, it all went to pot. So if you're that reliant on one player, then it's quite concerning because I think if we do get relegated, he will be one of the first players out the door, not from the fact of I think he would stay, but I think there's other Premier League clubs who would be touting for his business because when he is fit, he's an absolute monster. So got all the West Ham goals on film. Got one of the Fulham it was a West Ham goal, it was an own goal. The second goal for West Ham, not for West Ham, but for Brighton was a communication error. Like at the point where the man's closing down Diop, why is no one screaming at him to put it in the crowd? There was nothing until it was rolled past Fabianski, gone in the goal, and then he's going, well, what are you doing? He's like, well, I didn't know. So you can't really blame him on that side of things.
There were scrappy goals, weren't there?
And the third one, well, I've now witnessed VAR firsthand, and I wanted to shoot everybody. Not literally, just metaphorically. Let's clear that up. So, goals scored, and there's calls from handball from lots of West Ham players, lots of West Ham fans. It was up the other end of the pitch to us, so it was a bit hard to see from the angle we were at. VAR comes along. I think it was 2 minutes before there's a decision. Brighton fans start celebrating before the decisions come up on the big screen. And me being me, read it and went, why are they celebrating? It says, no goal, handball. But actually it said, goal, no handball, is what it said. So I was a little bit confused for a while. But then they showed it in slow motion on the huge screens in the stadium. At which point the Brighton fans went silent and the West Ham fans started throwing things and booing and leaving. Because it was quite clearly a handball. And I don't know how they got it wrong. I mean, on reflection of the game, I think a draw was a fair point. We dominate the first half, they dominate the second. So when you look at it from that perspective, I don't think you can moan too much. It's just the manner in which it happened again. At the end of the game, 3 players fell to the ground that were still on the pitch. Mark Noble, Declan Rice, Ryan Fredericks. Haller just walked off. Masuaku just walked off, as did a lot of others. Robert Snodgrass come round and clapped the crowd, thanked the ones who did stay for staying. But I just feel like a lot of West Ham fans are fed up with it. And there's no reasoning with a lot of them as to what and why. It's the board's fault. It wasn't the board's fault. I mean, I don't agree with everything the board has done. But in the same breath, they spent 22 million, was it, on Jared Bowen. They brought in Souček, who actually looked like a quality midfielder. And someone said they brought in someone else, but I don't know who that is. Darren Randolph. They brought in Darren Randolph. So they've pumped more money in, even though we're showing losses. I think the concerning thing is, if we go down, we've lost the TV rights. So that's another big lump sum gone. We're already £32 million before tax as a loss. So you're then financially unstable completely, which is really not very good. And I think that's where the likes of Leeds were when they went down. Maybe not to that extent. Sunderland definitely were. Portsmouth. So in that respect, the future's potentially looking a bit dim. I mean, I've looked at the fixtures and I think we'll probably pick up 10 points for the rest of the season, or at least for the next 10 games, which I don't think is going to be enough. So I feel like Watford will overtake us. Villa are hit and miss. Bournemouth have won a couple on the bounce. Brighton are drawing and grinding out some results. Palace maybe are taking a little bit of a dip. But after that, you think, well, there's not much. Southampton, Newcastle, Burnley, you can't see any of those going down. Not at this point. And then we get to Arsenal. So...
That not being funny, mate. That could be a hit or miss game for both of us.
Now, here's the thing.
There's so many down there that could just suddenly drop. It's so close, to be fair.
Yeah, but looking at our run of fixtures, Man City, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham. When you look at the fixtures, you go, oh, we've got Southampton in there. You go, I can't see where we're going to pick up. If we was to win 3 on a trot, then we'd shoot right up the table. Well, we wouldn't anymore. We'd shoot to 15th. But you then start to gather a little bit of momentum and that ability to grind out some results. But I can't see that run of games coming. I know not
such hard opposition
I know,
to play.
but as the Premier League, last couple of years, like with the Premier League, you've not looked at as many. I certainly haven't as a West Ham fan and gone, oh, that'd be 3 points there. Oh, that'd be 3 points there. Oh, yeah, that's 4 or 5 games we'll potentially win and get a couple of draws out of. It's more, that's going to be a grindy game. Oh, that's going to be a hard game. Oh, that's going to be a hard game. So it's just a concerning time to be a West Ham fan, really. The worst player on the pitch, without a shadow of a doubt, was Sebastian Haller.
Oh, really?
I would go as far to say as Simone Zaza was a better West Ham player than he is.
Wow.
Did
he play the whole 90 minutes?
Yep. He should have been hauled off at half time. He told Arnautovic, David Moyes, if you don't run, you don't play. He hasn't said the same thing to Haller because he's 45 million quid, and how can you not play the star man who's 45 million quid, you know? At one point, we had a break. Snodgrass, who was unbelievable, on the edge of the box, whipping in the ball. Antonio's there. Where's Haller? Oh, he's still in the centre circle.
What?
Like, what are you playing at? It wasn't a quick build-up. We did catch him on the break, but why are you there? Mark Noble, Declan Rice, and Souček were all ahead of him. You know, you're like, surely someone, he's a big geezer, but surely someone needs to grab him and say, what are you playing at?
Yeah, it's a striker. He'd be up there first one on the end of the ball.
But he's a record signing.
You'd like to think that the players within the team would be doing that, and you never know that young lad that you've just got, from Hull, wasn't it?
Yes, Jared Bowen.
Do you not think that he's going to come in, and because of the problems that you have been having, like with your goalkeeper situation, desperate times got called for desperate measures when you had to put Martin in goal with old Stumpy Joe, but obviously Fabianski's back. Do you not think with Haller, because he's not performing to the level that he should have, there's other kids going to get a run within the team?
Yes.
Or is he there to kind of back Haller up?
Well, he's a winger, isn't he? So he scores a lot of goals, but I can see him dropping someone like Snodgrass for him. Where I'd rather see Haller dropped, put Antonio up top, play Jared Bowen, Fornals, and Snodgrass across that line, bring in maybe Felipe Anderson as an impact sub at 60 minutes when legs are starting to go a little bit, because he's got that blistering pace. And take it from there. I mean, the thing that did get me is they took Snodgrass off. He went off to a standing ovation, which he deserved, probably deserved. He got replaced by Lanzini, who got booed on.
What?
Not by all parts of the crowd, by some parts of the crowd. But you're like, what are you playing at?
Lanzini
booing your own players.
Can be a great player.
He's not been the same since his injury, granted. But he ain't ever going to get your confidence as he comes off the bench and you're booing him. And it's just it's just frustrating. I mean, I had a conversation with a Brighton fan on the train on the way there and one on the way home. They're much more approachable, much more civilised, I would say, than a lot of West Ham fans. They'll have a conversation with an element of civility in it where you can discuss things rather than go, no, it's wrong, it's the board's fault, everyone, it's always your shit. You know, that's not helping anyone, is it? You've got to, it's hard, but that's what football's about. You've got to get behind your team and you've got to push on with it. If you don't do that, you're only ever going to lose. But on the positive, it was almost sold out. However, there is the other side to that coin with by the full-time whistle, it was probably quarter capacity.
Wow.
And in some respects, if I'm a season ticket holder, I can understand the frustration behind it because you're ploughing loads of money into it, and the effort's not there. Mm-hmm. If they'd all put in the effort that Antonio, Fredericks, Noble, Rice did, Snodgrass did, we would have won that game 6-0 in the first half. But because they don't, you leave yourself open, and then you take off Antonio, which I think was probably more from a fitness perspective rather than a a tactical perspective, because you don't want him to get injured again, and you end up drawing 3-3.
I just didn't see it. When you went 2 up, I was like, wow, this is.
It's a dangerous scoreline, though, isn't it? Being 2 up.
Yes.
I can't see where 45 million quid, right? How much did Aubameyang cost?
I think he
remember?
was around about 50 odd million. Hold fire.
Right. So let's say 55 to be safe. 10 million more than Haller. 56. So just over 10 million more than Haller.
Mm-hmm.
How many goals has he scored? Because he's your top goal scorer.
I think he's got 52 goals. I want to say.
He's not like 15, isn't he, this year?
Something like that. Maybe not even that many.
Hang on. Aubameyang goals per game.
So Sebastian Haller this season has played 24 games. No, 24. 25 to 6, 27 games. 3 of them coming from the bench, and he scored 6 goals.
Right, just in the Premier League, he's got 46 goals in 72 appearances, but also 10 assists.
Okay. So, just as I said, Haller has played in 27 this year. Only 3 of them coming from the bench. He's got 6 goals. The quality difference is unbelievable, considering that the price tag is not that different.
Yeah. I think Mane was cheaper.
I think, he was about 40 million, wasn't he?
35, 40, yeah.
So it's just, there's been a number of players who are not on form this year, or in form at different places. There's a number of injuries that have happened, but I don't.
Your talisman, your star striker, just if he's not going to put the effort in, what
we
does it
haven't
show?
had a star striker since Dean Ashton. It's a shame that they didn't bring one in, because as yet he doesn't look like he's up to the quality. Even when he played against lower league, it was like, what's this about? Haller, I think we jumped on that bandwagon of, he's had this great season. He had one season where he played really well, but you look at some of the players that were around him, playing with him, who have gone on to bigger clubs. You think, well, there's a reason why the Real Madrid have picked up Jovic, and there's a reason why Dortmund picked up someone else, and there's a reason why did no one come in for him?
To be fair,
we were the only club who went in for him, and they said 45 million. We went, all right, which for West Ham is like, okay, we've actually gone and spent some money. Well, they must be saying, yeah, but the scouting system must be toilet, because he's absolute toilet. I don't know how to describe it without being derogatory. You like, for 45 million quid,
you expect a lot more.
Yeah, I'm not
20
expecting.
goals a season.
Well, no, I'm not even expecting that. But I'm expecting him to give 110% and not be able to walk off and have jelly legs at the end of 90 minutes. At the end of 90 minutes, you know what he did? He just turned around and walked off.
That's terrible.
And you think, come on. But that's the problem. We've sold today another youth prospect who scored 16 goals in the Premier League too.
What?
Why? We've sold a lot of them in the January transfer window, and I guess that's to try and recoup some costs, but they're only small fees. Put them in the first team. This time next season, people go, it's 2 million quid. Rather than, that's 400,000, because they've never made a Premier League appearance.
But that goes back to something that we were saying, I think, when was it? Well, earlier on in this podcast, that it's kind of like the double-edged sword with this, that you either play your star name players and you get angry if they don't perform, but you can kind of justify that the manager's making those decisions because they are the star players. However, if they start putting through the academy players, if it comes through and works, great, he's a successful manager. Well done to him for noticing this talent and giving them their chance or whatever.
Yeah, I can go with that.
at the end of the day, it's a results-driven business. You can understand from the club's perspective as to why you want to give these players a chance or whatever, if they are your marquee signings. We've got the same issue with Pepe and a couple of other players as well, where they're being outshone by the younger players. But again, this is your bit.
I would no, but I understand that. I agree with that, providing they're putting in the performance. I would rather see a group of 18-year-olds play every week and play their heart out, and we lose 1-0, than go 2-0 up or 3-1 up, and then capitulate because the effort's not there. And that's the frustrating thing is I don't care what your price tag is, whether you come in on a free, whether you come from the youth academy, whether you're 200 million quid. If you're not putting in the effort, you shouldn't be playing.
Do you think that the Premier League is such a hard place and hard league to come in and play compared to other European leagues, that when they actually do make that transition, they can struggle to adapt?
I think it's a faster pace potentially, and it's more competitive every week. But I just feel like Haller has come in, and there's some other players who've come into the Premier League on big money, who've gone, I've got me payday. I'm on a 6-year contract.
Well, yeah.
So no one's going to pay me that much to get rid of me. I'll just sit and take me money. If I don't play, it don't matter, and I don't think he'd be bothered. If you said to Mark Noble, "Oh, you're not playing because you're not good enough," I guarantee you he'd be the first person to turn up to the training ground, and the last person to leave. I think he probably already is, to make that impression. So look, I am good enough. I am trying. If you said that to Haller, he'd go, "No, all right." I'd probably accept the fines for being late and for not turning up to training. And I can't see that tenacity in him to want to grind out a result and want to play. And if he, I know people say confidence is all of it, but you've got to put in the effort to get the goals to get the confidence. So it's
if that money thing's just ruined it. He's like, "Oh, I've got my payday now. I'll just
100%.
Put off the gas." Because looking at his stats, I just had a Google on his. Obviously, came from Frankfurt beforehand.
Yep.
60 appearances, 24 goals.
Yep. So it's not prolific, is it?
2017 to 2019. It's good though. It's 1 in 3.
Yeah,
it's better than what he's doing now.
1 in 3 to be a star striker.
Yeah.
Club record signing for 45 million quid.
Team before that, 2 years, 65 appearances, 30 goals. So pretty much 1 in 2. So 2 good spells at 2 clubs.
I think he's got his payday, and that's it. I'm just trying to have a look at some fees here. So let's put it in perspective. Ronaldo, as in Ronaldo number 9 with a funny haircut.
Brazilian Ronaldo.
CR9.
46 million he cost.
R9.
Less than that because it's euros.
Yeah.
Ozil was 47. Who else is around there? James Rodriguez, 45 million.
Whoa.
Granit Xhaka to Arsenal, 45 million. But bear in mind, these are euros, not pounds.
Yeah.
So Richarlison to Everton was 45 million. Where he's not been prolific either, but he puts in a shift every week.
Yeah. Barcelona came with like 100 million bid for him as well.
Yeah.
100 million euros.
Yeah.
Falcao to Monaco was 43.
Whoa.
Alexis Sanchez, when he went to Arsenal, was 42. So he's 3 million less, and I'm pretty sure he had a much better career at Arsenal than Haller's having at West Ham. Mohamed Salah to Liverpool was 42 million quid. So when you consider it, that was 2017, and Haller was bought in 19. So all right, prices might have gone up a little bit, but even so, would he be worth that much more than Salah was back then? No, I don't think so. It's just that frustration of they have put their money where their mouth is with it, but they've got it wrong.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that, really. But yeah, just the effort. There's still only 2 staff at West Ham.
2.
There's 2 staff.
That bench pretty light then.
There's David Moyes and Alan Irvine. There's a couple of medical staff, but all the coaches are gone.
That can't be good.
No, but how can you coach a Premier League team on 2 people? They did it on 3 last time, didn't they? And turned some results around. But this isn't last time. Teams are better. I think a lot more teams are having bad seasons this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is quite close, but it's still not good enough.
Speaking
what do
of,
I know?
Fingers crossed it works better for you.
What do I know? At least we scored. Well, technically we scored 4 goals. How many did you score, Mike? How many? Was it 4? Even though one of them was in our own goal? I don't think
we scored 4 goals as well. So surely Arsenal should have scored some this weekend.
Yeah, should have, woulda, coulda, and all that jazz. What an absolute travesty of a game this was. Burnley versus Arsenal. Arsenal were away, hence why I'm wearing the away shirt or the Watford shirt.
Boring.
Yeah,
it was a boring 0-0.
Can I make a request?
No.
Because I've been on my soapbox and I feel it would lighten the mood.
Got him.
Can you do your segment in the style of Sean Dyche? What I mean by that is, can you go and smoke 80,000 fags right now and then come back and do it?
All at the same time.
With a load of whiskey as well.
That's it. Can you do it like
that? I won't be able to do it. I'll end up coughing. I'll have a bloody coughing bit. So yes, Sean Dyche's Burnley versus Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Once again, we've in fact, no, we actually welcomed back a couple of players to this game. Aubameyang and David Luiz back in contention after their suspensions. With the way that Martinelli has been playing recently, it was only seems fair that he kept his position within the team, and Nicola Pepe was dropped from the starting lineup. Mesut Ozil in the number 10 role with Xhaka and Guendouzi. I'm not sure why Guendouzi was put in the team after Torreira, I think, has been having an absolute solid performance over the last few games under Mikel Arteta. Saka at left back again because we're still suffering with injuries in that position. David Luiz and Mustafi as centre back, and also Bellerin back in the starting lineup in the Premier League, which is good to see him back.
Neither of your 2 new defensive signings started.
No,
that's a shame. I like Cedric.
He's coming back from an injury.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, it's totally unlike Arsenal to buy someone in the January transfer window, or obtain someone in the January transfer window that's not injured.
You do it every transfer window.
No, we don't. Aubameyang wasn't injured.
In the summer, who did you buy? Who in the summer did you buy that was injured?
Tierney was coming back, but he was someone that we'd been after for a while. But that's not every player in every transfer window. Kim Källström is one that I think stands out for me. Was a signing with an injury. Poor guy, I think only got like 2 or 3 games with us. But anyway, what a poor game. It's a game that lacked any kind of chances. The chances that we had were spooned into the floor, spooned into Rosed, or just a dribble shot at Nick Pope. I don't think I've been so angry after a game for certainly a long while under Mikel Arteta. In fact, even under Freddie Ljungberg. I mean, there was some dull performances, but this was shambolic, which I actually put on my Twitter. It was so disappointing. Lacazette was having a shocker. That's 9 games he's gone now without a goal. Aubameyang I'd obviously picked up a bit of ring rust, shall we say, from being out for a few games. Martinelli didn't really get into the game. Ozil I did feel a little bit sorry for because he got substituted off, as he has done pretty much under every game under Mikel Arteta, which I think was unjustifiable because I think certainly from what I saw, he was one of our best players. But according to the media and a lot of, again, other fans sites and stuff that I've been listening to, they seem to think he disappeared, but I think he was actually kind of vital within the game. One player which I would like to mention, I think, was the flashpoint within this particular game was Bukayo Saka coming off, because he was deadly down the left-hand side, as he has been in quite a few games, but he picked up a bit of an injury in his leg, so I think he must have picked up like a dead leg or something during the game because he come off at half time, and we had to have Xhaka back in to fill the left back position. But yeah, it was just such a disappointing game. Like
2 shots on target. 2 shots.
But I mean, I will give him the fact that we have been having some more shots under Mikel Arteta than we did under Freddie Ljungberg and Unai Emery. But it's just not good enough. I tell you what, I was so excited at the start of the season with the players that we had in our team on paper. We should have been not necessarily challenging for the title. I think that's far too optimistic, but at least within the top 4 on paper. But we can't seem to string a decent set of plays. The thing that's been frustrating me, I've been saying this all season, is this playing out from the back bollocks. And I'm starting to get angry with this because we do see it week in, week out. And teams work it out so quickly, yet we still persistently do it. We play this stupid little pass to David Luiz out to the left-hand side of the box, the 6-yard box. And we play that stupid little pass out. The 2 players are already waiting at the edge of the box because they know it's coming. And it took until like the 70-odd minute in order for us to start lumping it up the field. But we're sideways passing, backwards passing. There's only a couple of people within the team that do seem to want to get the ball forward. And another thing that really annoyed me about this game was also the Lacazette. Obviously, I appreciate the guy's having a bit of dip in form at the moment. It can normally bang goals in, but he's going through a bit of a barren spell. We've brought Eddie Nketiah back from his loan spell with Leeds because he wasn't getting enough game time. But the guy come on at 88 minutes. How the hell is he supposed to impact a game with 5 minutes to go? And the time added on annoyed me as well because there was a couple of injuries, substitutions that were made, and there was only 3 minutes of added on time. It was ridiculous. But to be honest, I think the fourth official must have got so bored with the game that they wanted it over as quickly as possible. But yeah, I've finished watching that game and an angry Arsenal fan, and I'm hoping with the new defensive players that we got. So we've got Cedric Suarez and also Pablo Mari. We'll bolster up the defences. Kieran Tierney is apparently not far away from coming back from injury again, but obviously you don't want to rush him back in without getting an injury. And Nicola Pepe, we need him to start firing. We need Aubameyang to start firing. We need to start getting some goals, man, because we need to do something. We need to do something.
Do you think you'll ever adopt like a very narrow 4-3-3 and have Nketiah, Aubameyang, and Lacazette up top altogether?
No.
Because I feel like going against Burnley, that's the way to go.
Where would you put Nketiah?
I probably would have put him. I would have put Aubameyang like leading the line, and then literally all within the box, no wide players, just really play it really narrow up front, and Nketiah and Lacazette just behind. And then maybe probably Torreira in the middle with Xhaka, maybe Ozil in the midfield to get that forward balls and just play quite direct and fast. Maybe not in the air, but on the floor.
You just ship.
Just because Burnley are a counter-attacking team, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you think if Tarkowski and Ben Mee are picking up two strikers, who's picking up the third? Someone's got to be out of position, or their midfield's got to be right back, which then gives them that first ball out. You're more likely to win back because then you're outnumbered in the midfield. You outnumber them.
I do kind of get that, and it did seem very one-dimensional within the game that we saw. Granted, you did have Aubameyang and Martinelli swapping wings occasionally, but Lacazette was just isolated up top. I mean, like I said, we did have a couple of chances, and any other day, Aubameyang would have slotted his chances away.
Yep.
And that could have been a whole completely different ball game. I'd be coming away in a much better mood than what I did watching that game, and everything will be rosy. But we're just seeing it far too often with Arsenal this season. I can't even remember how many games we've drawn on the bounce side. Like 4 games on the bounce that we've drawn. We've had I think it's like 9 or 6 wins that we've had all season. It's just an absolute shit show, considering some of the quality of the players that we've got. Yeah, 6 wins, 13 draws, 6 losses. That's an absolute shit show of a performance.
Yeah, it's not too bad if you've only lost 2 games and the rest of them are wins. But I mean, is that coming from? I mean, Arteta. We all said when he came in we were quite excited because the work ethic and the passion was there. But watching Tottenham, Man City couldn't score. On any other day, they probably would have put in 4 or 5, but they couldn't score. But Guardiola did not change the system. He changed the personnel, but he did not change the system. So does that come from maybe that tutorage of stick to what you know? Because it does work, but when it's not working, there's no plan B. And I think sometimes plan B, lump it forward. I think Watford have showed that, lumping it forward and playing off of the second balls does work. It's not always attractive, but in a results driven business where you've got to try and win, put a couple in because then they're preparing for it, and then the spaces will open up for the quick tippy tapper football.
The one of the things that I will take away from Mikel Arteta's initial interview when he first come into the club is that he wants to start working with players who put their arm around them, find out what's going on with them, and all this sort of stuff. And he did say it was kind of little things that he has to change week by week. We can't expect everything to change overnight. There's a lot of possibly bad habits or attitudes that we need to address.
Yep.
And I think Phil hit the nail on the head perfectly in a message that he sent, is that we have to kind of just treat this year as kind of like an extended pre-season friendly, get the new players bedded in, work out what's going to be best, get the guys back from injury. And we do need to have, which I said a couple of weeks ago, we need to have a decent FA Cup run and a decent Europa League. Yeah, a decent Europa League run. And I actually listened to an interview yesterday where the guy had actually said, it was on the Arsenal Nation podcast that they do on the Arsenal app, where he said that essentially that same thing, that if you finish 9th but you have a decent or if you finish with an FA Cup or a Europa League would be ones that he has to prioritise because that could get you into the Champions League. Fair enough, but coming away with some silverware at the end of the season, is that a bad season for us? And I would argue to say that no, that wouldn't be a bad season if we finish in a position roughly where we are, but finish with a piece of silverware. I would be happy with, because it's kind of a transition period.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, people remember the winners of these said cups,
Yeah.
whatever.
If Chelsea aren't going to win anything, Tottenham aren't going to win anything, Man United aren't winning anything, yet Arsenal do, it's still a plus.
In 4 years' time, no one's going to remember you finished ninth. They're going to remember you won the FA Cup and won the Europa League. So, I think that would be a fair point to make.
Yeah, good luck. I hope it does work. I think it does take time to embed a new system, especially halfway through the season. It'll take time.
I just feel maybe with a summer transfer window, if he's back, you've had a couple of defensive people come in, which when you look at the 0-0, do you need defensive? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But maybe it'll all start clicking, and then he can bring in one or two that he wants and crack on.
I'm gonna call it now that we are gonna need to look for new strikers at the summer.
You reckon?
Yep.
Well, you can have Haller for a packet of Monster Munch.
To put it in honesty, Mike, it depends on. Obviously, it's not his team. He hasn't picked those strikers, and you want strikers that fit into your philosophy, the way you play, that can actually help the. Aubameyang,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Granted, I only think he's probably got 2 more seasons at the top level, so that would get him through next season. But if someone comes in for him and wants to pay it, because he's 31 or going to be 32.
Hasn't he allegedly already agreed a deal with Barcelona or Real Madrid or wherever it was?
Quite
it's
possibly.
Arsenal that he wants to go to next.
But
it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame. He needs
go on.
that service. He needs those balls to come in or that final pass that cuts through the defence and he can run onto it and finish it. He's a great finisher. He always has been. The amount of goals that he scored in Germany was insane, and some of the goals were absolutely quality. But he just doesn't seem to be getting the same from the rest of that what he needs.
No, I disagree with that. Like we just said, he's got 50 odd goals in.
He knows where the goal is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not getting it now, is he? I mean, this season, he has scored.
He's still the top scorer.
Yeah.
He's got 15 goals.
I just forget.
I mean, I think you've potentially struggled in the same vein that we have, but you've got more quality in that you've had a lot of injuries to key players, and you've had a lot of players hitting form, but all at different times.
Yeah.
So and it's just not balanced itself out to people putting in 7 out of 10s rather than someone's putting a 9 and someone else is putting a 4.
Yeah.
And I feel like that maybe has contributed, which is why you've got so many draws, because usually you would have converted them into wins. But who would you want if, say, for example, if they sell both strikers, that you're going to get close to 100 mil for them, aren't you? Now you're going
to ask me who I'd want.
Well, I was going to say you'd like to say that would be reinvested, but I don't think it would be in its total sum. So I would say they'd probably put half of it back in. Who would you like to see replace him? Would it be a loan move for someone from like Jovic, or would it be a case of maybe going right? We'll go hell for leather for Haaland because he's got a release clause in his contract, or would you go, right, we know that maybe doesn't fit the Arsenal view, but Mitrovic puts in a shift and he knows where the goal is, but he's going to cost us 25 million from Fulham. I mean, what would you want to see?
I've no idea. I honestly have no idea. One player potentially, which we've spoken about in the last transfer window, sorry, not the January one, in the summer one, there was that whole Wilfried Zaha possibility. If Aubameyang does go, I think he could potentially be a replacement. But again, we've got with the club's finances and stuff, we're struggling with trying to get loan players through the door at the moment. But obviously, as you said, if you get the money for them, could that potentially open up the possibility for him to come to the club potentially? But I honestly don't know. I would have loved to have seen how this team would have clicked together had there been a click this season, because we've seen it. There's been absolute moments of brilliance within our games this season.
Yeah.
The United game, I thought we were absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, there's 13 games left to play.
Yeah.
So you could potentially go on a run of eight wins on the trot, at which point that's going to shoot you right up the table, and you'll probably end up looking at 5th, maybe 6th, if that's the case. Possibly higher, because it's still quite close. But
still to pay for it. Tottenham is struggling. Chelsea is struggling in anything as well at the moment. It could all tighten up quite quickly.
I feel if there is a click, it's got to come soon. Because otherwise, it's say you're going to be mid-table, and then if you don't win the Europa League, then where's your pool coming from to join the club? I mean, if you get back into Europa League, you're still going to attract a certain calibre of player, but the Champions League is where the elite is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that we do have some players which I said at the start of the season, Martinelli. I think that guy is absolutely outstanding. Oh, sorry, I say that guy, that kid, 18-year-old kid.
He makes me feel old.
He's absolutely outstanding. When I first started seeing him in pre-season, when we signed him, I was like, who the hell was this? But I watched him in pre-season, and my God, that kid has got electric pace. Again, knows where the goal is. He's like the top scoring youth player or something in Europe at the moment. He's just unplayable at times. He really is. And I think next year possibly be his year where he announces to the Premier League, here I am. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like Arsenal have missed out on a trick this season, because should we have got rid of Unai Emery earlier? Yeah, definitely. I think we held on to it far too long. We could have. Ian, me and you were speaking about it during one of the international breaks. That could he have gone then? Yes.
September, October time.
Yeah. Should he have gone then? Yes, he should have, because that would have given the new manager a time to come in and kind of put his stamp on it, and we could have potentially been better off. I'm not saying definitely, because you don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think that 2 weeks, we'll come back refreshed. Hopefully have some players back from injury, and we go again. Yeah.
Are you actually having your players are having a holiday, or is it a winter training camp?
It's a winter training camp over in Dubai.
That's good. That gives you some good potential then, because they're working hard together as a team for once, for 2 weeks solidly. With Arteta, his philosophies, his new way, it could be great potential.
Yeah.
But yes.
You talk about Aubameyang not knowing where to go or not having a service. He got 17 goals in all competitions this year. But he's up now. He's up now.
But who's assisting him?
Lacazette's one of them.
Yeah, it doesn't say about assists on here, so I can't tell you that. I can tell you that he's other than Martinelli, he is the only player in double figures.
Wow.
That's why I said Martinelli is his first season.
Yeah, but he's got the drive, isn't he? When you look at him, if you said to him, "We can't pay you this week," he'd go, "That's all right. I just want to play football. I'm doing what I love. I can go a week without a wage."
You gotta look after him. He's young.
Mid-table mediocrity for the next 5 years.
Like,
It could go anyway, couldn't it?
Do you know what does please me a little bit though? Is all the people who are Wenger out. What must they be thinking now? Because if they thought that was bad, then what's good about now? Because you're much worse off now than you was under him.
Yeah,
and it was negative at times, but you were winning things and you were competitive every season.
Attracting good players.
To be fair, though, I mean, I didn't want Wenger to go. at all. I was very sad the day he left because he was what I grew up knowing at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But you could see from the results the way things were going. I think we were coming up to our second year within the Europa League under Arsene Wenger at the time that he left. But I think it was his time to go. But I miss him. I'd like to see what impact he would have back at the club.
Do you want to go give him a hug?
I do. I said, I miss you.
Do you know what frustrates me about it is I think he knew the time was coming that he probably needed to step down. Mm-hmm. I think he should have done it 2 seasons before.
Yeah, his timing was terrible.
Well, no, because he won the FA Cup then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you
after that.
After that, I think he should have bowed out on a high and gone.
Yeah.
I've won.
It's one season too many after that.
Yeah, and I feel unfortunately that will be the bit that he's remembered by a lot of younger people. He didn't really do anything, did he?
Is that just because? Sorry,
go on.
Is it because Arsene's departure was due to whoever else was there to replace him? That there wasn't that many people at that time.
I think if you want to replace it with quality, you go out and get them. I think Guardiola was the Bayern Munich manager. There was no reason he needed to leave. Man City went, come be our manager. We'll pay you. All right, let's go. You know.
Yeah.
It's, if they really want that manager, they'll go and get him.
But
positive.
Yes.
Finish on a positive.
Yes, so we kept a clean sheet, and we didn't lose. So yes.
Also, what's that mean?
God knows. We've seen far too few this season. But anyway, yes, I think we've droned on for. I certainly have droned on for far too long.
I droned on a bit as well.
The drone show.
Phil didn't, because all he's got to go is, we won again.
Yeah,
won.
That's it. That's what we need.
Do you remember last week? Remember back last week? We won then as well. Like we're doing it every week. Just record a bit where you go, we won.
We
won. And then when you're late, what do you think to that?
But yes, let this be known to the podcast world that Phil is now on a warning for lateness. We're gonna start imposing fines for Phil for turning up late. We'll issue the fine sheet. Everyone else has, so we'll start doing our fine sheet as well. So Phil starts turning up late for the podcast. He's going to be deducted points from the prediction show.
Gives you both a chance, then, doesn't it?
I'm leading the way, mate. What are you talking about?
By how much?
I'm a star man. I don't know.
Points?
7 points, possibly. Anyway, but yes, FDT-TV weigh-in challenge tomorrow.
Coming tomorrow, yeah.
Looking forward to seeing you boys. Looking forward to finding out who's actually got to go and do the challenge.
The challenge, the forfeit.
The forfeit, yes.
FA Cup weekend coming. Check out the predictions.
Yep, check out the prediction show. Twitter handles above us.
Depends on how it goes this week.
Like and subscribe. Check out other videos. I've been Mike.
I have been Ian.
And I've been Phil.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ah.